Hi, I'm the Let's Play Baseball Curse, and I'd like to share what I think makes a good photo mode in a video game, using a few examples of some good and bad ones that I've come across. I have a few notes before I start. Firstly, I'll be primarily using the console versions of the examples I'm giving, for reasons I'll explain later. Secondly, this is solely based on my opinion and experience, so some features I describe as a drawback may be more intuitive to somebody else and vice versa based on your own individual experiences. Thirdly, there may be some visual spoilers for some of the games to talk about, so please be cautious when watching if you haven't played the games. Enjoy! The first photo mode I'm going to delve into is in Borderlands 3, which I'm playing in the PlayStation 5 version. What a good photo mode needs, most importantly, is the ability to simulate a real camera well. Borderlands 3's photo mode does a solid job of letting the player deal with the specifics of what a camera can do without overwhelming the player with the actual camera talk jargon. The two menu options that deal with the actual camera settings, as opposed to menus with filters and the Photoshop experience, are clear with what they do and are easy to understand, even if it takes some practice to adjust to. The aforementioned filters and other features are well done as well, but are also features that can be found and used in other photo editing softwares. The second photo mode I'll talk about is in Horizon Forbidden West, which I'm also playing the PlayStation 5 version of. Horizon's photo mode lends itself better to people more familiar with photography and what the jargon actually means. In just one menu, it carries different lens presets and options for focal length, depth of field, aperture, and focal distance. It also includes a precision mode function to allow for more specific framing, a way to toggle a grid on screen to manage the rule of thirds easier, and has options for customizing the character and filters. The player customization in Horizon's photo mode is more in-depth than what was found in Borderlands 3, though both games have more customization than what's found in each photo mode. While the actual menu options are easier to understand with camera knowledge, the end product is better for the option it provides. The third game, whose photo mode I want to praise, is New Pokemon Snap on the Nintendo Switch. New Pokemon Snap is a little different from the other games on the list due to the nature of the game itself. While photography is limited to the photo mode in these other games, New Snap's main appeal is its wildlife photography and being a photo mode itself. The player can't change most settings on an excursion, but can still adjust focus, blur, brightness, and filter while using the Resnap feature, allowing for a better photo than what may have already been taken. The biggest feature missing is the opportunity to change the time in the Resnap feature, but most if not all maps offer the option of going through it at a different point in time. The final photo mode I'll discuss is the one in The Last of Us Remastered for the PlayStation 4. The photo mode in this game is my least favorite of the ones I've talked about so far. While it has similar features to the other photo modes with its filters, blurring options, frames, and ability to hide characters or enemies, the controls and options don't quite feel nearly as in-depth as the others do. While Horizon's photo mode allowed use of the triggers to move vertically and the left stick to move horizontally, The Last of Us uses the left stick for both. While not a death sentence, it feels less detailed and harder to control, especially moving back and forth from one to the other. The camera also exclusively focuses around the player character, while, again, the player does have the option to remove the character from the scene, it's more limiting for a potential photo. Hi, I'm making a jump cut to future me recording this segment. I realized after writing and recording the rest of the script that the camera for The Last of Us is more in line with simulating like a film camera for making movies or TV shows as opposed to like an actual photography camera. And while that's something that does redeem it a bit in my eyes, it still lends itself more to a good cinematic experience and less a good photography experience. And the game does the cinematography feel really well, but photography itself less so. Anyway, moving on. I mentioned in the intro one reason I was going to be using the console versions of these games as my preference instead of the PC versions. I'd like to be more specific about that now. While one of the arguments of using a mouse and keyboard is a better sense of accuracy, especially when playing shooter games, I don't find that it translates well into photo modes. Borderlands 3's Steam Photo Mode is the main culprit for this. control the right stick has on the console version is replaced by clicking and dragging on Steam, and it feels slower and less intuitive on the Steam version than on the PS5 version. A good photo mode, to me, should be easy to control and allow for creativity and the ability to focus on more than just the character. Of the games we've gone over today, I think Horizon's photo mode fits that the best. While actually using it does require some prior knowledge of camera or camera talk, if not just some practice to figure out what to do or what things mean, the end results are far and away the best that one can hope for. I also think that the type of game also factors into what the photo mode looks like. Horizon is completely open world, and the player can reach just about every spot that they can see in the camera. Borderlands 3 is more contained, but still big enough to need detail in the photo mode. New Pokemon Snap is entirely on rails and doesn't need much more than what the player can see on said rails. The Last of Us was already intended to be a more cinematic experience, and therefore didn't need an extensive photo mode in the same vein as the other games.